Hi, Gabby. I'm going to go over the week 4 coding assignment now. So the first question, we had to create an array of different numbers, the array called ages, and then we had to subtract the first element, 3, from the last element, 93. So I grabbed 93 by ages dot length minus 1, and I grabbed 3 by the index of 0 and minus 3 from 93 and got 90 right here. The second part was to add 10 at the end of the array. So I did a dot push and just added 10. Console logged it just to check. Here, I did a function to get the average. So we passed in an array. I made two variables, sum equals 0, length equals the array.length. Then I iterated through the array with for loop, and with checking each element, we added it to sum. And once everything's added together, I divided it by length, which would be the array.length. And we got 26 point, all those sixes. The second question was we had to create an array called names that contains these names. And then we had to use a loop to iterate through the array and calculate the average number of letters per name. So I made it into a function that passes in the array, which would be names, a for loop to iterate through each name in the array, and then I use dot length. So it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna look at Sam, and we're gonna look at the length of Sam, which would be 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna go add it to the variable I created, count. Once all of those are added to count, I just logged it, passed in the array names, and then we got 23 in total, 23 letters in total. And down here, sorry, had to concatenate the names. So I made a variable, another item, separate names. I did a for loop that's gonna go through each name in the array, and I just put plus parentheses, like a little space there, so that after each item that gets pushed to separate names, I'm just adding a space in between them. Here it's commented out, but the question was like, how to access the last element of an array. You do the array dot length minus 1. How do you access, sorry, the first element of an array? I did array that's brackets 0 because arrays are 0 based, so the first item would be 0. Here we had to create an array, sorry, called name links. We had to loop over the previous name array and add the length of each name to name links. So I did a simple for loop that took in each of the names again. It's looking at each name, so it's going to be looking at Sam. It's going to get the length of Sam, and then we're just adding a little comma at the end. Then it goes to the next name, gets the length of that one, adds it, comma, and so forth, which we can see over here. So it's Sam. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 3, 5, 3, 5, and so forth. Question 6, honestly, I could not figure it out. Trying to loop over this array from name lengths just kept giving me the same outcome. Obviously I'm doing something wrong, so I'm unable to finished that one. I tried. The second or the seventh question was write a function that takes two parameters, word and a number, and then we want to concatenate it to itself that number of times. So I did return word dot repeat and n. So whatever word we pass in here to the function, I did Bob and I put 3 for the number. Bob is going to be repeated 3 times together. So it's Bob, 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 Bob. Number 8, write a function that takes two parameters, first name and last name, and returns a full name. So I assigned first name. I did a full name variable const that takes in a function. So it's going to be first name, last name, and then arrow function, my full name is, and then I did template literals, passing in those variables. So then I console log the function with the parameters, or I put those here, the parameters, and then it says my full name is Gabby Gomez. This one down here, number 9, write a function that takes an array of numbers and returns true if the sum of all the numbers in the array is greater than 100. So I did crazy numbers here, and then I assigned sum to 0, made a function. I'm going to loop through the array, and I'm adding everything from the array and pushing it to sum. And then I did an if statement. If the sum is greater than 100, excuse me, we're going to return true, else false. Then pass in the function greater than, pass in the array, which is crazy numbers up here, and we got true. No, excuse me. Number 10, write a function that takes an array of numbers and returns the average of all the elements in the array. So I did an array called on the odd numbers, sorry. Set total to 0. Again, another function that's going to take in the array, another for loop. I'm adding each element to the total variable, and then I'm dividing it by the array length. And I believe I got 6 in my console. Dot log, yes. Here. Number 11. I actually posted this in the chat, and it was accepted, but it looks kind of funky. I have to take 2 arrays of numbers and return true if the average of array 1 is greater than the average of the second array. So my first array are small numbers, second array large numbers. Then I did a variable total 1, total 2. This function is going to take 2 parameters to parameter. Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. 2 arrays. Then I did a for loop that is going to iterate through the first array, array 1. And then I'm going to divide that by its length. So we're getting the first array, or the first item in array 1. Oh, yes. Array 1, adding in the total 1, and then at the end, we're going to divide it by its length. This for loop is the exact same for the second large number array. And then I did an if statement. If the total 1 is greater than total 2, return true, else false. And then I passed in small numbers array, large numbers array to the function. Question 12 is a Boolean. It takes in a Boolean and a number, and we have to see if it's true or not. If hot outside is true, and the amount of money that we have is greater than 10, it's going to return true. If not, false. And it does not. It returns false because 250 is not greater than 1050. Even though one of them is true, it has to be both true. And then number 13, I just did a funny little function that's trying to see which team is winning. I made a variable, winning team Alpine, other team Red Bull. I'm just gonna go through F1 fans, you know what that means, but a function that's just gonna see if it's true or not. So an if statement, if winning team is strictly equal to Alpine, it's gonna return we're winning. Or else if other team is strictly equal to Red Bull, we're gonna return boo. Else if it's not Alpine or Red Bull, it's just gonna return I hope Ferrari wins. And then I pass in the two variables and yeah. So that was the assignment or my attempt at the assignment. Hopefully I did okay. But yeah, thanks for watching.